Okay, so the first question is like, what do you think is the benefit of like teaching environmental education towards the preschool children?
For me, it really helps them to be aware of the things that they are doing and how it affects the environment. Like, children tend to just throw the rubbish everywhere sometimes, without proper education. So it helps them to realize that, like, I'm just throwing rubbish away, but I didn't know it's affecting the environment as well. It teaches them how to best save the earth and the animals, save the forest and the ocean, with the little actions that they can do for their age.
So that in the future, it's like setting a foundation for them. Okay, how about you?
Yeah, I really have inspiration, but then I would also like to add up some more. Sometimes when we are grown adults or something, we tend to forget about these like little foundations, right? So maybe when they go home and then they talk to their parents about it, it can also be like a form of a reminder to the parents, and maybe they can follow the kids' steps to also help them out. Yeah.
So it's also not only a foundation for children, but a reminder for parents. I see. How about you, Saka?
I want to share about privilege experience when I was a child. There's people come to me and say, why you need to teach them about the environmental education? But they're still young. Yeah. And you waste your time with it. Okay? And then I said to them, if we don't teach now, when are you going to teach them? Do you have time to teach them at home? Do you instill the knowledge about this environmental education at home? Then the parents say, sorry, okay, they say sorry. Then from there, I told them, okay, that we need to instill from now. If we don't do it now, maybe next time they don't have experience on this knowledge, right? So when they go to preschool, maybe they're busy with their homework, so they don't have time to do all this. It's not safe. Maybe under unconscious mind now, and when it's the time comes, maybe that knowledge will useful to them, right?
So this instill in their unconscious mind first.
Yeah. I want to add on to what Chelsea was saying. People tend to think that children are like, they're just kids. There's not much you can do with them. But from my experience over the years is that if you try and use simpler words to explain to them, they will be able to know, what to do, what not to do. Or sometimes when you are doing it unconsciously, they will remind you as well. It happens in class.
Can you give me an example, like what kind of simple word would you like teach the children?
Simple word, maybe we won't say pollution, but we'll explain to them like what happens when you throw rubbish everywhere. The place is very dirty. So let's say you throw it in the ocean. So the ocean will be dirty. So when it's dirty, they don't want to be in the dirty water. So the ocean will be dirty. So what can they do to enjoy the ocean? Which is by throwing their rubbish in the correct places.
Thank you for all the sharing. Very educational. Now, like, what activity that have you lead before that when you integrate the environmental education inside your lesson? Do you have any activity that integrate this kind of concept before?
For now, not yet, because it's in the future, but I've done it in my previous school. We filled up a really big, what's the name? Tub, I guess, really big. We filled it with water and coffee grounds, so it looks like dirty water. And we just put random, clean of course, rubbish in there, and we taught them to take out rubbish and sort into the correct bins, recycling bins. Yeah, so although I think it was a much safer experience compared to actually going into the beach water, and it really helped them to see, like, oh wait, I've had this bottle before, I've drank this juice before, I didn't know that this counts as rubbish. And yeah.
I think I do that activity with the children, and I also add on the oil because the children cannot clean the oil, right? So I tell them, like, you see, even though you clean all of the rubbish, but there's still some rubbish that you cannot clean. So what you could do the best not throw the rubbish that you don't think can be, and don't throw the rubbish at all, because you never know that the rubbish that you have, what is going on inside. Maybe there's an oil inside, there's a metal inside, or there's a juice inside. Can you clean the juice? So I teach them that. But thank you. So how about you?
Okay. In bahasa lesson, usually we learn about words sampah, buang sampah, and related to that, do sampah. So what you need to do with that? So they already learn in other classes. So during bahasa lesson, they also share with me whatever they learn from them. Okay, and then during daily activity here outside here, I'm always with them. So when they throw the rubbish, I show them how to throw it. If you saw the rubbish, the tissue is on the floor, can you just pick it up and throw it into the bin? We do something that is hands-on into the tissue.
So it's just like enforcing.
Yeah, enforcing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I did something similar with Miss Malaysia. Like this was my previous experience. What I did was I asked them to differentiate which one is trash and which one is not trash. So I would just compile everything in one big space, and I did it like a game kind of thing. So it's easy for them to like, okay, this trash is not trash. So they can also use it when they're actually going for beach cleaning, and they can identify those things. And then, but basically, I also try to like teach them through their own point of view, because so I do a lot of story books also. So in story books, when they try to talk about pollution, they try to talk in kids' language, right? So one of the books I actually read with them is called Plastic Soup. So yeah, plastic soup in a child's point of view is like very disgusting. So when you ask them, would you want to drink plastic soup? Would you want to swim in a plastic soup? Like, no, I don't want that, right? So he's like, yeah. So what must we do to have a nice soup to swim in when we go through the rubbish? Things like that. Yeah.
So that is your ways of like using simple words like that. Okay, using storybook. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, can I just add on?
Yeah, can
I was thinking about when I was doing my internship, we had to do an Earth Day event as an intern. So besides the beach cleanup was a different school. So this one was yes, we did do the classroom cleaning with this random rubbish on the floor. And then when we brought them to the next activity, we showed them how very common household items can be reused. So we taught them to see like, this looks normal, like, just a boring old container. But how can you use this to make it something even better? So besides just recycling, they also learn to reuse. And at the same time, while they are reusing the rubbish as well. Yeah, so like we made a robot, we made a flower pot or this and that from just boxes, cardboard, simple things.
So you also include the 3R inside of them. Do you explicitly tell them to learn about the 3R, or you just using this activity to lead them knowing the 3R?
I mean, they were only about 2 to 6 at the time when we did the event, so maybe the older children might have gotten like the foundation of it, but the younger children were not very, they didn't really know much about it, so we just did it during the event to just explain to them in a very simple way what's recycling, reducing, reusing, and then we taught them and we guided them as well to, do the activity to help them to understand it instead of just throwing them there.
Using your hands on
Yes.
right? I see, understand. Okay, so thank you. And then, like, what is the issue you think when teaching about environment education? That is, let's say Miss Felicia saying she will teach about, not really teach about, it's like hands-on experience, how the children understand about 3Rs. And you also talk about pollution, the dirty soup, right? Yeah, and also like helping them to clean up all the trash. But what else issue do you think should be included when teaching this concept of environmental awareness?
Can I answer this? I taught my current trails about the word deforestation.
Oh.
Yeah. So it sounds like a big word, it's 5 syllables. But when we repeat the word here every now and then, they can now and I explained to them like what is deforestation, is cutting down trees, and the consequences of deforestation, such as animals losing their habitat. That's why we see tigers on the road, tigers dying, monkeys dying. And we had a case in Malacca last year where a tapir, the long nosed
Oh, I think I did. Yeah.
tapir ending up in one of the hotels in Malacca, in the parking lot, just random.
Wow.
Popped up there, was walking by the road, and somehow it went to the hotel
Really?
that my school was at.
It's alive.
Yes, and I think it had chains on its leg, so it was bleeding a little bit as well.
Escaped.
Probably, yeah, I don't know how it ended up there, but then I did use that incident to show them, like, this is what happens. When they don't have a home, they have to look for a home. But not everywhere is a safe place for them. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very big issue lah. But I'm glad that you were able to deliver such, I would say, big word and big concept to help the children lah. So how about you, Miss?
Issue, maybe like the issue that why teaching environmental studies.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the issue is more on like how well can they grasp the concept, but
Like let's say the pollution, what kind of issue do you think is suitable for your class to teach them?
or based on currently I feel like it's mostly on the pollution because I think like everywhere now we also see like rubbish being thrown everywhere, right? Yeah, so like when they throw rubbish on the roadside, they do not just end up there, they also end up in our oceans. So yeah, that's why I think I feel like they need to know one little small action from them can make a very big effect on the environment around them and also can
Like a snowball effect.
yeah.
So do you think that children have, your age of children, have problem with learning that kind of concept?
So far it's still too early for me to tell, but they do know like it's not okay to litter. Yeah, when I did teach them about the sea pollution today, they do know what are the things they should be doing, like reduce, and then the plastic containers that they got from their food delivery, they can reuse it again for other stuff. So they have already learned that concept. This is a very good reminder to teach them.
Because I remember one of your slides is that the jellyfish, not the jellyfish, the sea turtle, yes, they're eating something similar to jellyfish. And I heard that a lot of children almost immediately know that that is the jellyfish and that will cause the sea turtle to, it's dying. So like the children has a lot of information already based on their age. So I think it's a very good concept as well to add more into their own knowledge as well. How about you? Do you have it?
For me, teaching environmental education is crucial. We start from younger age. We use simple words for them, easy to understand. Okay? And from the action that we do with them, I think they can understand. For the basic level, it's okay for me, and we're going to extend them when they go to the next level, 4, 5, 6. And I saw when I work here, 6 years old, they can understand them, they can understand what they're supposed to do, and why they need to do that, and the effect of that action. So I can see what you say that, it's past.
I see. So it's like they're passing.
Maybe they pick a bit at this level and this level big. Then when 6 years old, you can see them. They can understand.
I see. So
Maybe they cannot do that now by themselves. Then we hope when they go to big school, 7 years old, to next level, I think they can build a very strong knowledge.
I think all this kind of thing is to ultimately is to help the children when they are in the future. They can be a responsible citizen. They can help saving the earth. You know, because the earth is not only us, it's also them as well. So we also want them to try to live in the better earth than currently as it is. So now, can I ask, like, during when you are teaching all this kind of issue, environmental issue, what issue have you encountered when you are teaching this kind of concept to the children? It could be like maybe the time is not long enough, or like the resources is not it's not enough for helping the children. Let's say your classes have a lot of children, and then you didn't find enough resources. So like, is there any issue?
For me, because they are only 3 years old, so usually the time when I educate them about this kind of topics is a bit later in the day. So it's a bit, sometimes it can be challenging to get everyone to properly sit down and listen. So maybe 3/4 of them will be listening, the rest will be just out of it already. But then because of this, I take the opportunity every morning when we do simple time to recap what we already learned. So those that know the answers, they will answer it, and then I will maybe pick a student who maybe was a bit out of it the other day and ask them, like, can you explain to me what is this, what's that? Can we throw rubbish in the ocean? Can we throw rubbish around? And then, so I think by recapping, it really solves the problem of, like, not just neglecting those that are too tired to listen. Yeah.
I see. So that's the only issue that you have encountered? Or
Yeah,
is there
so far, yes, because although like you mentioned about big words, they really surprised me as well because they can sentence words.
Oh.
Yeah, all I have to say is just the, and then they'll finish forestation.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So at least they're able to pronounce it out for
Yes.
you. Very good. How about you, Cikgu Sophia?
Okay, I think it's normal for little children, like your class is like that, but it's a good thing also because they can say the words. Alright, I saw it from the moment I wrote here until now. Is I think the teacher don't give up. They will actually has that in their mind, but it's not the time yet for them to
Learn.
out.
Use
Say out everything. So you be patient. There's a time for them. Okay? It's an unconscious word. It's a question mind still there. So when it's time, you open your mind. So you will be shocked. Yeah, shocked. Suddenly it's come out from there. Okay.
So like, what else issue have you like encountered when you are teaching this kind of in your bahasa?
Okay, my bahasa because most of them is not young mother stuff. Okay.
Mm.
So it's not easy for me to see them to say the words. But I believe they will have it in their emotion. I still believe that. Okay. I don't believe that. Actually. Okay.
I see.
Yeah. For my subject, start from downstairs, Daskar, and we start at 4 years old, waiting and say the words. I think I can say like just at least they can say the words. It's not all, maybe 2 or 3 is enough already for me. For them.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So for you, it's like the language barrier is right there.
Yes.
Understand. How about you?
Me, I feel like it's because when we teach them, right, something they already know, yeah, I have to do like how relatable it is for them to conduct these actions. Right? I think because, yeah, I think here also we can see the school itself is in the middle of the city. So for sure the kids are also growing up in the city. So I think it's very, very hard for them to see like real life first-hand experience, to see like all of these solutions happening in front of their eyes. So I feel like when I'm teaching them, instead of using just storybooks that are full of illustrations and drawings, I think it's also very important to show them real life pictures. So what I did is I actually showed them of animals dying with plastics inside of their bodies. There's a bit, how how to say, like it's a bit sad, but then it's because they cannot see, experience it, yeah, real life, right? So through pictures, like real life pictures, hopefully will help them to really understand better and have that sense of empathy towards our environment. Yeah.
I think because the most important thing is they learn through few things, right? They learn through feel and touch. So I think we are trying to convey the feeling of sadness for them to remember. Right? So for you, the issue will be like it's very hard for them to relate to things. So you just bring it back. I see. So do you think that there's any way for you to, let's say you just say, right, it's a day to see the new picture. Other than that, do you have any other solution?
Because now we are dealing with a lot of like plastics, right? Plastics, pollution, and everything. So we do not. Plastics is very hard to biodegrade. Yeah, biodegrade. So we somehow those plastics end up in our food as well. So like yeah, I do experiment step by step. Okay, you throw the rubbish, and then the rubbish will then takes it into the river. Then the river flows into the ocean. The ocean is where all the animals live in. Then the fishermen will fish the fish out of the ocean and then bring it to the marketplace. And then who buys the fish? Us. Then who bring the fish home? Mommy and daddy. Who cook the fish? Mom. Who eat the fish? Me. So from there they know like, oh, those things are actually coming to me. Coming back to me. Yeah. Chicken. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I have to break it down in my
Yeah. So slowly they learn.
yeah, so I actually not affect the earth, also affect me as well. Oh, yeah, definitely. So I think all of the activity and everything that you teach is kind of like really help the children to focus and also learn. But have you ever heard about this concept of STEAM? STEM,
Science.
yeah, science, technology, engineer, and math. So have you tried to implement or integrate this concept into your own personal teaching as well?
Can I speak for my future lessons? Something that I've already planned.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for the last week of this month, I'm planning to do that coffee ground rubbish activity. This is the class. But I'm also going to save aside some of that water, and the next year we're going to make a water filter
Oh,
using plastic bottles, stones, sand, all that sort of thing. Yeah.
that's very, how do you say that? You are not only recycle on yourself, but you also help use your own material to recycle.
Yes.
It's very nice.
Yeah, I've never done it before, but I think it will be a very interesting topic for them to see, like, with all this pollution, there is still something that we can save, despite having like dirty water. Of course, they don't have a factory or power plant or what do you call that?
The dam.
The hydro dam to filter the water for them. But then they get to see that using this kind of simple materials, I can do it myself as well, and they can see the difference between all the dirty water and the cleaner water.
I see. I think it's not about like what they can do. Like you are teaching about the concept, right? So in the future, like if this thing happen, they saw in the news, they know that the original culprit is who.
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
And to add on to the mention when I mentioned about the deforestation, just want to share that last year or 2 years ago, when we had Earth Week in my previous school, we actually brought the children and the parents to the forest reserve.
Oh.
Yes, and then we teamed up with, I believe it's Perhutanan, Jabatan Perhutanan, and each family gets a tree. So what we did is that each family planted one tree with their name on it. So after some time, they get to go back there and see how far the tree has grown. So like it's a way for them to know like, okay, this is we're having this deforestation every now and then, but this is how I can replenish the trees. Yeah, for them it's like, oh, it's so hard to grow a tree. Just pop it there, just water it, and you're done. And just make sure you just give extra care and a lot of love, and you can combat this problem if everyone does the same.
Yeah, definitely. It's very meaningful. Thank you for sharing. How about you?
Okay. I think in future I need to do the STEM things in all school. Okay?
Oh, it's okay, it's okay.
Okay, I can try it. Yeah.
I see.
So
Don't worry.
I have the resources. But
like how to say, sometimes you are very tired, understandable.
Yeah, I'm like curious of your like because it's so different when we used to learn things at school back then, right? So I feel like now how the kids learn is like update ourselves with the current technology. That's a good point.
Yes. No worry,
Yeah.
we have a lot of time. We still have a lot of time, okay? Okay, so I think that's all for my interview today. So thank you all again for joining this